Destiny is on our side today. I know it. And you can help us by going to patreon.com/WassessCastProductions. For less than the cost of talking down your evil brother in his quest for world conquest, you can support our show. It's bonus episodes, early access, and exclusive content just for you. Please join us on patreon.com/WassessCastProductions. And now, on with the show.
Four episodes, one podcast. Fuck, we got a lot to cover today, so let's get right to it. This is the After Credits Cast, the only film podcast to talk about Avatar for 6 months in a row. It's fine. We're good. It's good. I am your host, Arain Waseska, and I am joined by Riley Metters.
I'm nowhere near nimble enough for this.
Chaz Momokamer.
Hey, I like that. Almost sounds a little Samoan, maybe, you know what I'm saying? I'm not Samoan, but it would be cool, right?
It would be cool. And of course, last but still not least, Nikozai Mendez.
I love that I'm Ozai.
It is our continuing goal to defeat Nicole whenever she shows up, so it makes sense. We never succeed. Yeah. Like,
no, you guys tried with finals and COVID, but I just came back stronger.
God damn it.
Don't worry, I'll take her bending away, and then we'll see what happens.
Why couldn't I be Azula? That's what I want to know. That's.
I don't know. You are very Momo shaped though.
You're not hot enough to be Azula.
The hell you just called me?
Sorry,
I look like a lemur.
Wow.
I like. Look, man, you're all right, but I mean, Azula's like S tier. Dog, facts.
No,
all
Chaz,
right.
you are beautiful. Like I'd nut to you.
Oh
What?
my god.
Oh, wait, what? What?
What's even funnier is Nicole's not seen a single damn image of you, so I don't think she even knows what she'd be nutting to.
Let's see. I kind of let me describe myself using a celebrity. I kind of look like Chris Farley had a baby with Seth Rogen.
Okay, I'm just picturing Momo with like a little top hat.
Why did that description almost sound like Max? Are you Max? Are you Max?
I might be. I don't know who Max is, but maybe. It's all possible.
Man, we gotta get Max and Chaz in the same
all
room.
theories are relative.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a fun episode.
I've never seen them in the same room, so that's all I know.
Dude, it's like me and Batman. I can't tell you I am Batman, but I might be Batman.
But you're not saying that you're not Batman.
True.
Well, Batman's a menace, like the wall-crawling menace, and so, I mean, either way, we gotta arrest him.
Mm-hmm.
Give me photos of Batman. Speaking of photos, you can follow us on
No, I
different
don't
links
want the Batman. Give me Spider-Man.
Yeah, maybe. You can submit your various photos of Batman or Spider-Man or Chaz if you can find him in the wild to our links down below, including Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. You can also follow us on Patreon, YouTube, Pippa, Apple Podcast, whatever the fuck Google's on right now, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, TuneIn, and Podcast Addict, and anywhere else you can find us. Go look us up. We're somewhere out there.
You know, it really impresses me how long you guys keep up this running joke of that Pippa exists.
It exists, Nicole. It exists.
I don't know.
What's funny is Google Play. What's funny is Google Play doesn't exist anymore.
Google Play
does
has
it
gone
not?
way up the dodo.
Yeah, Google Play has been gotten rid of. They now insist you go to YouTube for music, and I think they have like Google Podcasts now for that. I don't know if that's a thing. I've got to look it up honestly. I don't know. Also, if you want to email us directly your pictures of Chaz, Ryan, where can they email that to?
They can email that to 2hourramblingpodcast at Sorry, nope,
Sure.
excuse me. That's evacstation at gmail.com.
Well, that'll be a fun email to figure out there. Everybody, we have a big 4-part episode to cover tonight, but before we do, I promised a certain someone 5 minutes on the clock to rant about his favorite episodes that he missed because of various reasons. So, Chaz...
Bruh, I got stuck on a rooftop in the freezing cold. Listen, okay? Literally, I was like up on a rooftop. I almost fell off and slipped. It was dark. I was cold. I was getting yelled at by one of my I guess I don't know if you'd call him my manager. Not really.
Kind of.
But
So you got stuck in a bad Santa impersonation? Is that what?
dude, it literally was. I was about to frickin' Santa Claus that, like, honestly.
I was just thinking about the Santa Claus. That's exactly what I was thinking.
100%, dude. It was not a good time. And then, you know what? At the end of the day, it was okay. I got home at like 9 o'clock, made up some hot chocolate, got pissed off, had some alcohol, and it was fine.
In the hot chocolate?
Yeah, well, I put alcohol in the hot chocolate, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, like you were supposed to
really
say he put the piss in the hot chocolate.
That's why I clarified what I put in the hot chocolate.
Okay.
Just
Look,
so I
whatever the man puts in his hot chocolate, that's his business.
Okay, we can't eat any more into my 5 minutes of time. So,
Fair enough. Starting in now, you get 5 minutes.
okay. So, I missed my two favorite episodes, which were the Firebending Masters and Sokka's Master. I missed those two episodes. Are my favorite episodes of the whole show for a couple of different reasons. First one is because I think that it highlights what's most important about the show, which is internal growth as well as personal growth through self-sacrifice as well as self introspection, right? Like realizing that, you know, Zuko might have been like A1 since day one at firebending, but he didn't know everything, right? And Sokka might have been, you know, awesome at battle strategy or warrior, whatever you want to call it, but at the end of the day, he also didn't know anything, and he humbled himself in order to learn the craft better, which I think is something that's super cool, and I don't think it's something that a lot of people discuss or openly, I guess, give credit towards when people do that, and I think it's super cool. So that's the biggest reason why those two episodes are my favorite episodes. My other reason is because the animation for the Firebending, or the Firebending Masters episode, when the two dragons are like circling in the fire and this, oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous. And I'm just like,
Chef's kiss.
every time I watch that episode, I'm like, this is what the whole show has been building up for like, once, like, yeah, the every you know, all the episodes up until that point are really cool. You know, there's a lot of really interesting things that happen, a lot of really cool animation, cool fight scenes, but like once you hit that episode, for me, it's like, it's a banger. Like every episode from then on is just, yes, it hits. It's like the signal of like, yo, we knew we had like 6 episodes left, so every single one of them is going to be a straight up banger. Like 10 out of 10, 5 out of 5, great episode. I also think that it does help humanize the character of Zuko and further like bring his redemption arc full circle. You know, I think that's super cool, especially given the fact that he is the second protagonist and protagonist, like whatever you call the middle boys that are like both good and bad.
I know there's a special term for it. I don't remember what it is.
Anti-hero?
Sure, anti-hero.
That's it. Let me look it up while you're talking.
Almost like Venom from the Marvel comics. So yeah, I mean that's why that's my favorite episode. Then Sokka's Master is one of the coolest episodes just because it does teach a lot of the really traditional. The reason that for me personally, before I do what I do now, what the hell does that word mean?
In literature, the deuteragonist, or the secondary main character.
Deuteragonist, my guy. That is what I would have never thought of that, but okay. So before I do what I do now, I was a chef for years. My favorite food and my favorite style of cooking is actually Asian, but specifically Japanese. Even though it's more of a Chinese style that they teach in the show, because it's using a different style sword. Anyway, and the reason I really like the Asian culture is because everything is very ceremonial. Everything is done with purpose, right? And during that whole episode, the master talks about doing everything with purpose, and it's very, I feel like they did a lot of respect towards that culture. And now this whole show, yeah, they've had a lot of respect towards it, but specifically in that episode, it was really cool. And I think that it was really cool to get, like, my boy Sokka got an episode where he showed his growth. You know what I'm saying? Like, he actually, like, you know, was awesome and learned a bunch and meeting the master was really cool. The fact that he was part of the White Lotus was even like a little Easter egg in there, back around later. And it's just such an amazing episode that you can watch it over and over again, and each time you still get that feeling that like, man, this is it. This is huge. This is an amazing part of the story. As well as, even though the inaccuracies of it are astounding, but forging the sword, there is actually a lot of truth to that. Especially,
it's an abridged version of doing it.
More in Chinese and Japanese culture. It's the what version? Sorry?
It's an abridged version of forging a sword. I imagine they couldn't show the full process and keep it timely.
Well, like, none of that is how you would do it. Like, you don't cast swords out of anything if you want it to be strong. But like, I digress. That's part of the show. I know. Whatever.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's an abridged version. It's making it easier to understand, which is fine. But there's a lot of truth to that, and a lot of the ceremony, and a lot of respect towards the craftsmen. And the really cool thing that I thought was really actually the best part of the whole episode is more of the respect given to the squatting smiths, which are the foundation, as well as not the necessarily creators, but they have a lot of grassroots in the metal forging community, right? So there were these smiths that were in the mountains, and the reason they called squatting smith is because they didn't have like anvils or anything like up on stands, so they would squat down and they would spend all of their time squatted, right? Because that's where they found the most power, because they were drawing power from the earth to do their metalworking, because they respected the earth so much. So if you watch that scene, actually there's a point where he's squatting and hammering on the anvil, which is super cool, because when you think about forging, a lot of the times you think about standing there, but he's actually squatting, which is super, super cool. And it's not something that I would think a lot of people would do unless they knew about the tradition. Granted, I don't know, maybe that's what people think of blacksmith, but so yeah, I just really like that episode. I like both of those episodes for different reasons, but similar reasons in terms of why they are probably my two favorite episodes. Now, we're not talking, I disregard the finale when I say this, but they're my
Right.
two favorite episodes in the whole show. So yeah.
Well,
love it, man. And
Nicole, in all fairness, since we gave Chaz a little bit of time to go on his episodes, is there any episodes in particular you want to give a shout out to?
Oh, jeez.
You don't have to if you don't want to. I just figured I'd give you the opportunity.
Yeah, I don't really think so. Like, it's been a while since I've seen a lot of them, so I can't nothing I can really think of off the top of my head as like the ultimate favorite.
Fair. Ryan, I'd ask you, but you've been here this whole time, so I mean, we already know your episodes you like and don't like. So
Yeah, I've given my takes on all of the episodes, so I think it's
Ryan,
okay.
what's your top two episodes for the whole series, not including the finale?
Bruh. Oh god, that's a huge fucking question. Shit.
The reason the finale doesn't count is because there are so many bangers. Like,
Yeah.
we'll talk about them later in the episode, but
Right.
my god.
I mean, if you
Finale's
posed
so
me the
good.
question, I would probably say Blind Bandit is easily in my top two, and then
Okay.
man, the other one would be tough. I'd probably have to go with maybe the Crossroads of Destiny. I really do like how it's the Empire Strikes
How
Back
do
in
you
the
steal
series.
both of my goddamn?
Which one's the Crossroads of Destiny again?
The
Remind me
finale
more
of season
about it.
2.
Oh,
Oh.
actually, no, that's not
Got
what
it.
I would have said. So my two would be the second part of the Day of Black Sun,
Okay.
because you get Zuko's arc really, really reaching a climax there, and he's like actually splitting off on his own to like seek his own destiny, and like he's actually taking agency for his shit. Like, it's a beautiful moment in his story. So that's definitely one of them. And the other is the Guru, where Aang is going through and unlocking all of the chakras, because it's it's actually a very meditative episode that you can go through with Guru Patik and like actually think about the stuff in your own life to achieve a bit of a bit more self-awareness in that episode.
Like we did a little bit. Well, with that, are you guys ready to tackle today's episodes?
Absolutely. Let's get it. We're at the home stretch.
Today,
So excited.
Today marks the end of the Avatar Last Airbender episodes. It's been a ride. I hope you enjoyed them as much as we did in rewatching the series. Let's dive in. Tonight we'll be covering the 4-part special bundled together: The Phoenix King, The Old Masters, Into the Inferno, and Avatar Aang, all of which aired originally July 19th of 2008. Written by Aaron Iez, Michael Dante DiMartino, and Brian Konietzko. Directed by Ethan Spalding, Giancarlo Volpe, and Joaquim Dos Santos. The cast, we'll just give everyone's names one final time. Mark Hamill, Jenny Kwan, Gray Delisle, Nick Jameson, D. Bradley Baker, Jennifer Hale, Tress McNeil, Jim Meskimen, Keon Yun, Robert Patrick, Kevin Michael Richardson, Takayo Fisher, Jen Cohn, Andre Soglioso, Olivia Hack, Cricket Lee, Greg Baldwin, Jesse Flower, Jack DeCina, Mae Whitman, Dante Bosco, and of course the main character, Zach Tyler Eason. A lot of good names there. A lot of good names. And finally, this did win an award, as you can probably guess, the Annie Award for Best Directing in an Animated TV Production.
Yeah, frickin' deserved it.
Oh,
yeah,
damn. Absolutely deserved.
I feel like there's a lot of episodes that deserved
Easily.
it, but this is definitely one of the easy ones to give it to. With that, I turn over to Ryan at the Fun Fact Science Corner.
All right, we've got 5 for this 4-part extravaganza. First off, this episode is the first part of the 2-hour movie Sozin's Comet, which pulled in an average of 5.6 million total viewers and achieved the highest Avatar rating ever with kids between the ages of 6 and 11 and teenagers. No brainer there.
Yep.
Yeah, shocking.
Shocker.
I would have been giving rating totals, like, viewership totals, but they're very hard to find for these episodes. I think it's just because it's on a cable network, so it's hard to get accurate numbers.
Yeah. Right, well, next up, the passage of power from Ozai to Azula over the Fire Nation is very similar to how emperors would manage their home nation when given the title as Holy Roman Emperor in the medieval era.
That's cool.
Right. Yeah. Right. Next up, although Iroh had previously stated that complete control of emotions was required to generate lightning, Azula still successfully generates lightning despite her declining mental state. Could this be just because she's a fucking prodigy?
She's freaking cool.
Maybe once you've mastered it, it becomes just second nature to do it.
Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. Or it could be that there's always this one specific this part of Azula that needs to have complete control. So like even in her crazed state, her bending is still like on point. Although that doesn't really also hold up because that's the reason why Zuko's able to beat her. I don't know. We'll talk more about that when we get to the Agni Kai. The beautiful Agni Kai. Alright, next up, Zuko and Iroh's reunion parallels the parable of the prodigal son. A young man, like Zuko, leaves his father and brother to pursue friendships with sinful people. In this case, it is ironically Zuko's immediate family, represents these sinful folk. After the son endures, he learns that he can return to his father, who unexpectedly welcomes him back with open arms, much like Iroh. Tears on this one, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't wait to get to that one deeper.
Many tears. Many manly tears. God. Yeah. Right. Final fun fact. Both this and the first episode of the series have titles that refer to Aang, pointing to his evolution throughout the series. The first title, The Boy in the Iceberg, shows that Aang is young and is much more vulnerable, while this episode's title shows that Aang has grown to be a powerful, fully realized avatar. The glow up. The actual glow up.
The glow up.
Ah, the hype is building. Are y'all ready for the final synopsis of this little series?
I'm buckled up.
Zuko drops some big news. The Fire Nation is going to be going on a worldwide purge. Something you might want to have mentioned when joining the team, buddy. In a panic, the team slaps together a battle plan, only for Aang to claim killing goes against his ninja way. After a heated argument, Aang disappears into the night, and Momo too. Fruitlessly searching over the nearby area and nowhere else, the gang turns to Zuko as a replacement leader and overlook poor Sokka. Zuko decides if they can't find Aang, they might as well go drinking. They go to a bar where they meet June, smelly hunter lady. When Aang's smells come up with no search results, Zuko asks for Iroh. And Google provides by navigating them to the walls of Ba Sing Se, where a retirement community of sorts is seeking to save the city. Meanwhile, Aang has a conversation with his other personalities on how to stop Ozai, all of which tell him to kill. Doesn't really sound like a healthy conflict resolution. But Tessudin Machina gets him back in time for the fight with a new skill unlocked. Ozai releases the Hindenburgs and begins the assault, but Aang arrives in time for fighting to happen. Sokka, Toph, and Suki are also bringing down ships, having tearful goodbyes, and last-minute saves. Meanwhile, thousands of miles away, Zuko and Katara interrupt Azula's coronation/mental breakdown for an Agni Kai for the Iron Throne. Azula cheats, attempting to give Katara a real shock, but Zuko takes the hit. Katara is left to fend for herself, and she does alright. Aang is pushed into a corner, and his avatar state reawakens for the first time all season. He manages to shove his metaphorical fist up Ozai's literal ass for a good few minutes, but stops short of killing him. Just as Ozai attempts to turn the tables, Aang unleashes his latest and greatest technique, energy bending, almost losing himself to the darkness. He takes away Ozai's bending, ending the war and his reign over the Fire Nation. Zuko is crowned king, a big party is had, Aang and Katara finally kiss, and if you want to see what's the continued adventures, you'll have to read up on the comics, Ryan.
I did!
Mad
Man, fuck you, I did it!
To be fair, I wrote this
that was
before I got that news. So.
Yeah, to be fair, I literally read it today, so yeah, that makes sense.
Proud of you.
I'm not.
So before we dive into any specific questions, just general thoughts on the finale overall. What do you guys think?
Platinum, God tier, one of the best.
God tier,
immediate.
10 out of 10.
Dude, heckin' the old fogies beating the hell out of everybody in Ba Sing Se. I mean, you got the Agni Kai. I mean, you got the fight between Aang. You got Avatar Kyoshi telling Aang to get the gat. You know what I'm saying? Like literally just telling him to get the Glock. Like that's literally what she says. Like she's like, bro,
pretty much like she was loading the gun for him.
Yeah, straight up, hands down. So
hey, and I got some bullets. Here you go. Let's just put them in there for you.
It was just nonstop. My gourd was filled with pog the entire time.
Ooh, filled with poo.
Yeah.
Admittedly, this finale is firing on all cylinders from beginning to end. Like, there's not really a down moment. It might start off a little slow, but it doesn't really waste time. It gets going pretty quick, and once it's going, it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
I think the amazing thing about the episode, at least for me, is that it manages to maintain its pace like damn near perfectly throughout the 4 episodes. So you kind of forget that they're 4 episodes. It just feels like one beautifully well-written movie, and it starts off a little slow, but then it just ramps you up and sends you on your way to these like fantastical fights with a bunch of different notes that the 4 episodes hit. So I think it was just fantastically written, and I can't wait to dive deeper into them.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get started with... What?
Mm-hmm.
Did you gonna say something?
No, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, okay. We'll get started with the first question I've got here for you, and I got quite a few of them, so we'll just get started. Why didn't Zuko tell them about the Fire Nation's plan sooner?
Like, there was a lot of miscommunication here. Zuko also didn't know, like, apparently they all got together without Zuko and was like, yeah, we're gonna wait till after the comet.
Yeah, but like you're
That's
you're
fair.
joining
Yeah.
the team. I would feel like, hey, by the way, guys, before we get too comfy, I should probably tell you what they're planning to do if you guys haven't, got a plan for this yet.
I suppose so, but he was also under the impression of we are ending this the day of the comet, so we don't have to worry about that. Plus, Aang was already under a lot of pressure to begin with.
Yeah, he was losing his mind a little
Yeah,
bit.
you're telling like, was he like 12-year-old? Like, yeah, go save the world, Forehead. It's fine. Just kill a man. Here's a loaded
Just kill him,
gun.
Five Head. Duh.
Yeah.
I know you're a bit stressed, but if you don't do this, literally millions of people are gonna die. Okay, thanks, bye!
Literally everybody will die if you do not like break your moral code and kill a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is it really
So
one
if
of
anything,
those?
Zuko was being a real bro.
A little bit, and I think they were building up to it. Well, and actually, what's funny is they were building up to a little bit in the Southern Raiders episode, Ryan, when he was saying, if this is your philosophy, what are you going to do when you have to kill the Fire Lord? Like that seems like that's when the conversation would have happened about. Oh, by the way, this is what's going to happen here soon.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to stop him hardcore, bro.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry, the pacifism route really isn't gonna do it, man.
See, but man, I don't know. It's that whole argument, right? Where it's like, do you stick to your guns and stand for what you believe in truly, or do you do what would be better effective, right? Like, I hate to compare it to this, but civil rights, right? Like what Martin Luther King did with nonviolence and doing protests and trying to be peaceful as you can be in that situation, right? Is very difficult, and it was not an easy process. It was slow. It took forever, and you had people the whole time telling him like, well, if you just riot, it'll go faster and they'll listen to us more, So I think that, I don't know, it would be a difficult decision for, personally. I just pull out a gat, just bust a cap in him. But like, I'm saying, I understand Aang needing like his own code or motto, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it's also the fact that, he's 12, and like that teaching of the monks is like all he really knows besides, when he's out of the iceberg and, traveling around. So when you finally get to this moment, like how else are you going to handle that?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess that kind of just dives into second question. So I'll move on to the third question here. How bummed are you that we never got a Zuko Toph episode?
Oh, extremely bummed.
Extremely bummed. I think I mentioned
wanted
it.
that field trip.
I think I mentioned it earlier that I think the only other reason aside from like time constraints was the fact that Toph was the only one to actually get one-on-one time with Uncle Iroh. So like her soul was perfectly fine. She didn't need a whole soul searching episode. I still would have loved to see it.
She still deserves it though.
She absolutely does deserve it, but I don't feel super duper bad because she got that wisdom directly from the source,
Yeah, but it's kind of like the episode. It's kind of like earlier though when they were doing the library episode, and they're like, you don't get your vacation until later, Toph, and then she never got it, and I'm like, oh, so she's gonna get shat on here too, huh?
Yep.
Damn.
But she got even better than Zuko, bro. She got Iroh. Like she didn't get the apple. She got the whole tree. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'd take Iroh.
I'm more just in for the
Any day of the
misadventures
week,
of what
though,
these two
okay.
idiots would get into.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they would die. There would not be a question, or one of them would kill somebody, and they would have to figure out how to hide the body. Out of everybody in
I
this
think
show,
that's closer to it. Yeah, I
All
definitely
right,
think
new
that's closer
movie
to it.
pitch. We're doing Zuko and Toph like Weekend at Bernie's style.
Oh god.
yes.
But who's the
Okay,
dead body, though?
so-
Would it be like
so
the
my
cabbage guy,
question
probably?
is- Yes, cabbage
Oh no!
Yes.
Cabbage man. He didn't deserve to die. Jesus.
Well, you
So
can't,
my
you
question
can't do a
to you
named
fine
character,
folks
Ryan.
is,
Oh.
who, if you killed somebody, what character in the show would you ask to help you hide the body?
Tough.
Yeah, she could bury it right away.
Come on.
Yeah.
Not even a question.
I would say Azula.
Oh,
But
Zula's also a
Maybe
good
I-
choice.
maybe I just want her to step on me.
What does that have to do with getting rid of a dead body?
Well,
She
the
can
more
cremate him
quality
and step
time
on
we'll
him.
spend together. Yeah, she just cremate him. Exactly. Boom.
Yeah. Perfect.
God. So, moving on a little bit here.
Yeah. But alas, no Zuko X Toph. I'll just have to go to my fanfics.
Absolutely. Were you surprised to see the Order of the White Lotus here and who all was actually in it?
I mean, after like at the end of it, when it's all said and done, seeing all of those masters made so much sense. Like, it absolutely made sense. Plus,
Yeah.
they had already been dropping the hints about Iroh's connection to the White Lotus, so like the fact that we already are well aware that there is a secret society called the White Lotus and that Iroh is like pretty high ranking in it. Like, just having all of these powerful old teachers also a part of it to like be a secondary assault force was just like, yeah, no, that's a good payoff. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, like Boomy said, all old people know each other.
True.
Yeah. I just think, like I've said in previous episodes, it would have been nice to get the same kind of hints we did for Piandao as we did for John and Paku and even Boomy a little bit, because I feel like they didn't get hinted at as much. Like, I don't need anything super obvious. Like, I don't need them throwing White Lotus tiles everywhere. But like maybe a painting in the background, or maybe like a tome on one of their shelves or something, just so you can be like, oh hey, that looks like a thing. I wonder if that's connected. Oh my god, it's connected.
Oh shit! Get out the string and the
I
board.
just loved it, man. I really I just loved seeing all the old people roll up, and they're just like, "Yo, what's up? What's good?"
We about
you
to
know.
take back this city.
Like, in the whole thing where Iroh's like, I always had a dream that I would take Ba Sing Se,
Oh,
but
that was
now
so
I'm
good.
like, take. Oh, then he.
Oh.
Oh, that's so good.
And we can dive into that real quick while we're here too. Like,
I think
oh, go ahead, Ryan. You were saying something.
Yeah, I just think the coolest thing that their the connective tissue that really connected all of them was the fact that they were so globally minded. Like, they all had differing philosophies, but their philosophies always incorporated various methods of thinking. It wasn't just around the philosophy of their land, but rather it was a very wide and broad way of thinking. So, like, you can see that in shades of all of their teachings, with Boomy thinking so ridiculously outside the box, with Piandao saying that the way of the sword and knowledge doesn't belong to one place but should be shared all over.
John.
Thank you, John Zhang, teaching like patience and like the way of control, because just fire running rampant will hurt everybody around you. And Iroh even teaching techniques of firebending that he's derived from waterbending. Like, all of them have a very globally minded
I
mindset, and that makes the most sense to me.
I like how you neglect to mention old sexist Paku.
Right?
He wasn't globally minded because he was stuck on an igloo for Lord knows how long.
That sounds
Then he
racist.
got off the igloo and he was fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got off the igloo and it's just like, okay, yeah, I was being an asshole. I
Yeah,
understand this now.
Look, he met up with his girl, he drank his respect women juice, and he was all set.
Respect women juice.
Look, while we're on that topic, I was having a conversation with one of my buddies, and we determined that Sokka at the end is just the ultimate himbo.
Go on.
What does that mean? I'm sorry,
What?
I don't know the meme.
Wow.
I know.
So pretty much.
Classes in session.
All right.
Everybody
Here's
listen to Professor
my
Rivers.
PowerPoint presentation. A himbo is a normally a like really buff dude who is very polite. He drinks his respect women juice. He respects the ladies. And he gives the best hugs. That's normally not a full requirement, but it happens most of the time. I'm trying to think. Have you seen JoJo?
Like Bizarre Adventure JoJo?
No.
Oh god.
But so basically like if you got like Dwayne the Rock Johnson,
Yes.
is super
Yeah,
respectful.
I would describe The Rock as a himbo.
So,
Okay.
But also
gotcha.
himbos are kind of dumb.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're missing that
Yeah,
part.
I
'cause
don't
Yeah.
really see like The Rock as a dumb person.
I don't see Sokka as a dumb person.
I mean, Sokka's dumb about some things.
He's gotten better though. He's gotten
Or at
so
least
much
he
better.
was.
Yeah.
He's
He's gotten better, but he is dumb about some things. Like certain things, he is smart at. Or Kronk. Kronk is the perfect example of a himbo.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that one.
Hey, okay.
Or if you,
Or like Chris Hemsworth in real life. Yeah.
I was gonna say Chris Hemsworth. Well, yeah, like Chris Hemsworth in real life. I was gonna go with the Ghostbusters reboot he was in.
So, Chris Hemsworth in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So we'll hit a heavy question here real quick. So, what are your thoughts on the Iroh Zuko reunion?
Honestly, that was kind of everything I wanted it to be, because it's been so long since we've seen or heard from Iroh, and you could absolutely see why Zuko was so worried about meeting up with him, because he, like, since then he's had time to realize exactly how much he fucked up over the past while, and like he was fully accepting of the fact that, like, by all rights, Iroh like should want nothing to do with him. He put him in prison, and just all of these horrible things happened because he didn't listen to his teachings. But just the unconditional love that is shown, in spite of quote unquote not deserving it, was just it was the ultimate fatherly payoff. It was everything Zuko wanted from his actual father and got from his surrogate dad, which was 100 times better than his real father ever could be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it's so good. It's probably one of the best in terms of like the emotional scene in the show, right?
Top
Like,
10
there's
for
a
sure,
lot of
maybe
them
top
where-
3.
Yeah, definitely. I would probably say, I mean, you have the part where like Zuko's up on the mountain, he's like, just freaking kill me, dude, freaking strike me down, like Bruce Almighty, like smite me, almighty smiter, like literally wanting to die. I mean, you have Aang realizing he's the last of his kind, and, when he finds Monkey Yatso's skeleton. I mean, you have Katara when she confronts her mom's killer. There's a lot of emotional scenes throughout the whole show, but I feel like this is the one that was like, I don't want to say the most rewarding,
No, I think that
but like it was really like,
it has the most build up to it. That's for sure.
yeah,
I would actually go ahead and call it the most rewarding, or at least my personal pick for the most rewarding,
Yeah.
because this is literally shit that Zuko has been working towards since episode 1. So
Yeah.
to see him reach these conclusions on his own, and then meet up with Iroh and beg his uncle's forgiveness, because it's only now that he sees how much his uncle was trying to help him. You can't top it. You can't top it.
Like, I don't know, like, if you really... So, I don't know if you guys have ever done anything really regretful, like something that you really shouldn't have done, right? Like, I've done, not nothing terrible in my life, but like, I've done stuff that I have regretted, and there's like that feeling of, I have to talk to this person about this, right? Like, I need to make it right. I got to at least say, hey, I'm really sorry, you were right. And that fear of their response, but you still know, you're like, I have to do this, even if it's just for yourself. It sometimes can be pretty selfish, but at the same time, you're like, I need them to know that I've changed, or I understand what I did was wrong, or something like that. And then, not that I've done anything like Zuko betraying his uncle and getting him thrown into jail. Like, that's pretty hard. But like, by all, and like you said, Ryan, by all measurements, Iroh like deserved to like be like, you're a piece of garbage. I never want to talk to you again. I don't trust you. I hate you. And the fact that he like accepted him with open arms and like hugged him. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever like apologized for something and had somebody completely like, no questions asked, just be like, yo man, it's all good, bring it in, and like give you a hug or something. Like, it feels good when that happens. Like, you're just like, I'm not a piece of garbage. Like, you kind of not necessarily feel validated, but you're just like, I am not a huge piece of garbage, and maybe somebody will love me at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I've had similar experiences. I can't say
so like,
specifically what, but
it's so freaking good, man. Like,
Yeah, and just the fact that Zuko just sat there all night, like, I can only imagine the fucking anxiety and like thoughts running through his head.
Dude, he's probably had a heart attack just sitting there like, what's gonna happen? What am I gonna do?
He had probably at least 3 heart attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Also, could you imagine, like, first of all, that man's watching him sleep, like, the whole time. Like, Iroh's sitting there sleeping, and he's just like, hello. Like,
He's just
bro,
waiting.
if I don't care who you are, if I wake up and I turn around and somebody's sitting there watching me sleep, I'm either A, going back to bed because I'm like, I choose death, I don't care, or B, I'm getting up and I'm getting the strap, and I'm getting the Glock, and I'm just gonna be like, what's
Throwing
up?
some hands.
Like, we're gonna go straight up.
Note to self: do not go to Chaz's house when he's sleeping.
Yeah, don't do that, man. I don't do
no.
well with that.
Surprises?
With people just like rolling up to my house, like, I don't like that. Like, this morning, a postman rolled up at 7:30 and banged on my door like the dang FBI was coming up in here, man. Scared the hell out of my dog. I come down with my gun because I think somebody's about to break into my house. I was like, what the heck? I don't even live in a bad neighborhood. Like,
Aaron,
this
so we
man
should
is like
probably cancel
skirting out
the
the
party
driveway.
then.
We probably should cancel Chaz's surprise party. Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah,
I don't do well with surprises. I tend to have a fight reflex and less of a flight reflex.
Definitely cancel the fight party then, right, Nicole?
Oh, you sure I already put down the deposit?
Yeah, I don't want anyone getting killed.
I'll see about the refunds.
Dang.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, we've been alluding to this discussion for a couple episodes now since the Boiling Rock. But we'll break it down here in greater detail, and we have other people for different perspectives. Why does Ursa haunt Azula's mind, and what caused Azula to crack, essentially, aside from what happened at the Boiling Rock? Like, obviously that set things off, but like the damage was there before then. This just reopened old wounds.
Yeah. God.
She got mommy issues.
Mommy issues are a thing. They are a very big and prevalent thing.
She also got daddy issues.
She's got issues in general.
Yeah.
So, I think to kind of recap everything that we've said about it over the course of this whole season, over the course of a past couple of episodes, but there's a like ever since as Azula's been grown up, she's had the example of her father, pure strength, intellect, just complete control and manipulation of everyone around him through fear to equate to power. And whenever she's emulated those examples, she's been looked on with praise from the only person that she really respects, which is her father, the most powerful person in the Fire Nation. She sees her younger brother or her older brother as a weakling who isn't able to emulate those beliefs, and she sees her father just shitting on him constantly. So it's just further reinforcement of these things. But the one person that does not follow that is her mom. It's like the one person that doesn't follow that is her mom, who showers Zuko with affection and tenderness and sees fear and kind of like hesitance in her eyes when she looks at Azula. So in all honesty, her mom represents the one thing that she wanted but could not get through this quote-unquote power. And it's something that Zuko, who's always been seen as weaker than her, has been able to attain without effort. I think that's the chink in her mental armor. It's the one thing she hasn't been able to force her way, and by consequence it's been the biggest thing that she's always wanted, because it's the thing that she's been unable to attain. So when you see people choosing Zuko over her, it immediately goes back to the first and the biggest person who chose Zuko over her in her mind.
I agree with all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, oof.
Yeah.
She's
Plus, also
just...
add that being considered a prodigy in firebending, not just by her father, but her grandfather as well. And just those standards to live up to just all her life.
Well, yeah, she was always put on a pedestal and always assumed she was perfect, and this is something that just exemplifies that she's not, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's beautiful how well they portray this, because they've always, even when you first see her and you first meet her and she's practicing her firebending, and the twin old ladies are watching over her practice, and they're like, your form is perfect, there's just a single hair out of place, and she hyperfixates on that. She's like, then it's not good enough, we got to do it again. So like from her very first from the introduction of this character,
she's crazy.
It's hinted that perfection is key, that everything needs to be completely at her beck and call 24/7. And the one moment that it's not is there's issues. There are major fucking issues.
And of course you see that cascade in a huge way this episode, where everything seems like it's conspiring against her, from the fucking cherry pit to the Dai Li and everything in between, so...
Absolutely.
To her own hair.
Oh god, that was just a great scene. That scene alone is one of my favorite Azula scenes. I know there's really good animation with fire stuff and just her intimidation and the lightning, but I don't know, that very intimate, personal moment with her in front of the mirror talking to her imaginary mom, just...
Yeah.
It's really good. I like haunting psychological scenes like that. It paints a great picture.
I like watching people slowly slip into madness. Aaron Waseska, 2020.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
On your tombstone.
I mean, I do like
this guy.
I do like the old Cthulhu Lovecraft stuff for a reason. I like people's, or even like Shutter Island, for example. I love seeing people's psyches be broken down into basically mush and then having them rebuild themselves back up. It's an interesting concept because you're taking all these extremes about their personality, their fears, their guilt, their shame, all that stuff, and you're personifying it in some way and using it to kind of express their character in a less conventional way, and then you slowly over time, depending on who the character is, build them back up into something less broken, and it can be a very interesting experience.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Silent Hill for making that really good. So, any other discussion on that one before we move on to the next one?
No. Good.
I figured the Azula conversation was going to go for 15 whole minutes, but anyway.
Listen, now if it's about who's the waifu, we can have a 15-minute conversation.
We already know who's
about that.
waifu.
Fair enough.
We already
fair
know
enough.
it.
Yeah.
It's
No contest.
zero test.
Mm-hmm.
So next question is our last one before we take a quick break in between to dive into technical stuff. But the question is, could Iroh have beaten Ozai? Why or why not?
Yes. And the reason you asked why, I think he could have, and I think the reason being is because Iroh has a better, well-rounded set of techniques. Kind of like Ryan touched on earlier, he actually he developed techniques using the other tribes, not necessarily abilities. I don't want to say like that,
But they're like
their
techniques.
movements.
Yeah.
yeah.
Their teachings.
Excuse me, sorry. That scared the hell out of me. But by studying how other people think and about how other people learn, you can become a better tactician and fighter. Tactician. X6910 tasks on.
Oh my god.
Didn't he die or something like that?
Jesus Christ.
Didn't he get shot?
Oh my god. Continue on with your thoughts, sir.
So anyway, but that's what I'm talking about, So I think he could have won. I don't think if he fought Ozai, he would have won.
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. Could he, in theory, algorithm written out? Yes. Would he, though, in practice? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And the main reason is because he's not as ruthless as Ozai. He's not a mindless. I mean, he's not a mindless killing machine like Ozai is.
Yeah. Like when Ryan and I ranked the characters a couple weeks ago, we had said that Ozai's kind of a bitch character. Yeah, he's powerful. Yeah, he's got a good design and everything. But at the end of the day, he's still kind of a bitch and an asshole. So we put him down low on our list for it.
Yeah.
Bruh, you think you could square up against Ozai?
Well, no. So our
power level wise, he's up there, but his character motivations are trash. They're just I want to rule the world.
His
That's
personality
it.
is
That's all
trash.
that.
His way of dealing with problems is trash. He fights dirty. Probably he would easily take Ozai. He would easily take Iroh in a fight like this. But if it was like a straight fair fight, like an actual Agni Kai, Iroh would probably win for sure.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, of course, Ozai cheats in that too, like Azula tries to. But that's a whole other conversation.
Oh, dude, I let her cheat, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So before we get to the final fights, because they are right around the corner here,
Mm-hmm.
let's do a quick round of technical garbage where we talk about the animation, music, anything else you might think of before we get to any deep dives in the stuff. So yeah, animation fucking top notch all the way through this thing. The
10 out of 10.
God tier.
Agni Kai
They
looks
pull out
perfect.
all the stops
Yep.
for this stuff.
It's like they put movie budget into this 4-episode arc, and it shows. It really does.
Yeah, it really does. You're 100% right.
Yeah. There is a metal cover that I listened to of the Agni Kai theme.
I think I've got that for one of the episodes that we're going to put up for the
Pardon?
intro.
Can you hit me with a link?
Yeah. I was getting the link right now so I can get it to you.
Put it in the
guys.
messenger, please, so I can.
Yeah,
I can
I put it there.
bust.
Yeah. It slaps.
I wonder if it's the same one I have.
It's just 4.5 minutes of just non-stop pog.
Because your boy is a large metalhead, so I am here to talk.
I see a man of culture.
A man, another man of culture as well.
Oh, it's not the same one I've got. Okay.
So I absolutely want to hear it and check that out, but I really appreciate the fact, like the reason that the Agni Kai music is hella somber, because the writers are treating it with the gravity that it deserves. It's just this is like a huge climactic battle. There are two master firebenders, like with their power scaled by like 20 just for the fuck of it. Beautiful animation, all this like massive fire going on. You could have like a big bombastic theme, but instead it's somber. And it's quiet, and it's kind of understated, because at the heart of this is a tragedy. It's a brother and
Dark
sister.
Plagueis the Wise.
No. it's a brother and sister, like, fighting, one trying to kill, like, straight up kill the other one because of the trauma that they went through in their shared collective childhood. Like, this sad.
Yeah,
This
I think
is a tragedy. This is actually a tragic fight.
as much as I like the metal cover for like just listening and jamming to, I gotta agree the softer, somber, more depressing tones allows that to really hit you harder as you're watching it go down. It's kind of like the understated music in Dark Souls. Like, yeah, you could get some cool rockin' jams to it, but at the end of the day, that game's not about rocking out. It's about getting your ass beaten, and sometimes that's not a fun time. So it's going to be somber and sad a little bit throughout that experience. Same kind of thing here, almost.
I'm just saying, I'm gonna probably jam out a little bit to this.
Oh, no,
tomorrow.
yeah,
I'm pretty hype about it.
I'm sure it's a bomb-ass cover, and I definitely want to hear it. I
Who's it by?
appreciate
I have not
the
looked.
choice.
I put a link in there too when you get a chance to look at it. The one I put in is the one I've been using for a couple of the intros.
Oh, you gotta put it in the messenger. I can't look at Skype.
Oh, sorry, I'll put it in the messenger.
Yeah, I'm a
Messenger?
gamer boy. I play on my Xbox. I'm on my Xbox. I'm a game.
What a fucking gamer. Like, jeez.
I'm literally a gamer.
God.
Oh, this messenger is so slow.
Ugh.
It's
Oh wow, blame Messenger.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
It's
I will
really low.
blame
It's
Messenger.
really slow.
I will blame Messenger if I want.
I will blame
Jeez,
Messenger
Dad.
because it's fucking lame.
There we go. It's in there.
Yeah.
Oh.
There you
Hang
go.
on.
Yeah. Yeah, you can listen to on your
Yeah.
Xbox.
Also, if you
So
look up,
gamer boy.
Who's this guy?
if you look up Samuel Kim music, he's got quite a few remixes of stuff too, including epic versions of like the main theme of the Agni Kai, and a few other ones too. And I think he's even got an original mix that's for both Korra and Last Airbender. Like, it takes a little bit of both and makes something new, which is kind of cool.
That's pretty pog.
Yeah, I'll put
God.
the Agni Kai from him in there as well. It's more of an epic, like, orchestral thing,
Definitely.
which is another one I've used a little bit. Like, I've been mostly going off the music from the show, but if I can find a good time to slip in like a remix or a cover, those are fun to put in there sometimes.
I love listening to
Sometimes they're just
remixes of
absolute
songs
bangers.
in like shows.
Sometimes you just gotta put up an absolute banger.
Any other like technical stuff, writing, animation, music, anything else you guys want to hit up before we get to the final fights?
The writing and so was this stuff like, was there any mocap done in this show, or was it all just hand animation?
Not that I saw. I think it was mostly all hand animation.
Yeah.
Because good God Almighty, then the choreography that the artists had and the showrunners and storyboard people had is like the amount of studying they would have to do just to understand the martial arts, but that the bending is based off of, is the tits.
Funny you bring
I
that up.
cannot stress that.
funny you bring that up. When we did the Sokka's Master episode, I don't remember the name, Ryan, but we talked about it. Didn't they have that guy either voice or help influence the Piandao character, the guy who taught everyone the martial arts needed for each of the different forms?
Yeah, the either the design or the philosophy or a little bit of both was actually based on like the head choreographer who was working on the applications of different martial arts throughout the show in forms of bending.
So they had someone on deck who knew what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
With that, so we have 3 big final fights to get through. We already kind of covered the reclaiming of Ba Sing Se. We can hit up a little bit more if you want, but I think we hit the majority of it. There's not a lot that happens. I mean, yes, the old guys go over.
Freaking Zhang flies. What do you mean not a lot happens?
So
Oh, yeah, not a lot happens,
Well, okay, so they go there. They help take over the place again, but like, there's no real conflict. They just knock a bunch of mooks around with their big ass fire dicks. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but like, there's not a lot of emotional weight behind it aside from Iroh burning up the one banner.
Now, to be fair, it's the meaning behind him burning that banner is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you imagine if, as like the United States, if we took like if soldiers or something took over a military base and burned the United States flag? Frickin' jeez, like, that's big. That's big. That's big news.
Mm-hmm. Well, little different though. It'd be kind of like an example that would fit on. It'd be like if like a British soldier burned a UK flag that was hanging in India after they liberated it from British control, so to speak.
God damn, that's spot on. That is spot on.
Which,
yeah,
would not be surprised that actually happened a little bit. But anyway, it bears a lot of similarities to that.
True. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I think it's definitely a great scene. I wish they could have spent more time with it, but obviously you have to save your big moments for the other characters who are completing their arcs. Iroh's not really completing an arc. He's more just wrapping up the part of the story that we're all interested in, but obviously you're not going to get enough time to sit with. Like, his arc's done. He's done everything. He's led Zuko on his path and everything. So
all of them have finished their arcs. We are just watching them do their thing, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
No more character building, just straight up action.
With the exception to Aang, I think he's the only one who's getting his arc finalized. Everyone else has already gotten their, like you said last week, Ryan. Everyone's getting their what do you call it, loyalty missions. That's the end of their arcs.
Yep.
So Aang's the only one left.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start with the least emotionally impactful fight, but have some big moments. Sokka and company versus the airships.
Oh, you mean when my girl Toph becomes fucking Iron Man?
Yeah.
That was pretty dope, to be fair.
The whole sequence is a lot of fun. Like, it's definitely not going to have the same emotional impact as like Zuko and Azula or Aang fucking trying to fight for his life, but
yeah,
it's cool. Like, from the moment Sokka's telling everyone, "Hey, there's a big birthday party downstairs," to them nearly dying.
That was great.
Like, all of it's so good.
Can I just have a mini series about that crew? Like, I want those two characters to form a friendship, and that guy, they actually plan like a legit birthday party for that one dude. Can I just have that?
Make it like Cowboy Bebop, basically.
Yes.
We just pick up right after they get out of the ocean, like they wash up on a beach somewhere.
Yes, right after.
It's still my birthday, guys.
I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, and then they
like,
just
dude,
go on a
crazy
my
birthday
adventure.
True.
I gotta love, though, that they still include little bits like that just to add a little bit of humor and levity to this otherwise, like, fucking drama-filled finale. Like, it's a good little sprinkle.
Yeah. Also, that ridiculous ridiculousness made the plan purely Sokka. So like it was almost like his stamp on it. I loved it.
But yeah, that seeing Toph go all metal bender on everything, like those ships didn't stand a chance, man.
Oh, not even a bit of a chance. Like, it was not even a close thing.
Can we get an F in the chat for the meteor sword?
Oh, dude.
May it rest in peace.
I'm sad
Oh,
he doesn't get
man.
it back.
I'm very sad about that. If I have one gripe about this series of episodes, it's the fact that he never gets that fucking meteor sword back.
I gotta say, though, despite him losing that sword and all that, I still really love that scene. And the reason I really enjoy, and I know it sounds weird to say I enjoy these two kids hanging for on this near-death experience, but hear me out. It's a good.
All right, Aaron, freaking relax,
right.
bud.
No, it's a good scene
Wow.
because you have these two characters who are very self-assured. You have these two characters that make light of every dangerous situation they've been in up to now because they've handled it. They've dealt with it. They can handle their shit. Toph alone is a one-woman army, or girl army. She's still like 12. But the point still is, these are characters who have been through so much and done so much and are capable of so much, and here you see them in this incredibly vulnerable moment where they finally come to realize this might be the end, and they accept their mortality. They're like, oh, this actually might not be a happy ending for us, and you kind of see it in their eyes for a moment. And it's like, damn, that hits really fucking hard.
Oh yeah, especially with Toph.
Can send it.
Yeah, she didn't even say anything. She's just like, get a little bit teary there. It's like, that's not the character we've seen before,
Yeah,
but
she's just
it's
crying.
a real
It's like-
reaction.
Yeah, because she's just hanging off the edge. Like, she can't see anything. All she has is just holding on to Sokka's hand in that moment.
Hashtag Sokka-Tough.
I love it that it's also yes.
Yeah,
We'll forever
what's the
ship that.
deal with that? Why didn't they ever capitalize? I feel like they were building up to that throughout the whole show, and they very much did not capitalize on it. It made me a little upsetty spaghetti. I'm gonna be honest about it.
I don't think they were building up to it so much as they were alluding to the fact that Toph has a crush on Sokka, but it was never really developed or whatnot. Also, you have to realize that Toph is actually the only one that is either the same age or younger than Aang, because she is still 12, 13.
Yeah.
Be were to say
So
something, Ryan?
it does make sense. Did you not just hear me speaking?
Well, no, you were going to say something before that, but then we got a little sidetracked there.
I was just gonna say, it's hilarious.
Oh, that couldn't have been more perfect.
Right?
I was going to say that this is the second moment where Sokka is involved in this military maneuver, and shit looks dire. And while we absolutely don't blame him for the Day of Black Sun, you've mentioned in the past, Aaron, there's a part of him that surely blames himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at this moment where things are darker than even that he manages to save the day. He has to lose his fucking special meteor sword in a bomb ass saber throw that
Yeah.
shears a metal platform clean the fuck off. That's master shit. But he had to sacrifice that, but he was able to get the job done. He was actually able to save his loved ones this time around. So it was while this fight doesn't have the same emotional impact as the other two, this is absolutely a big, a great moment for Sokka in terms of him being a tactical leader and him being able to kind of redeem himself in his own eyes for his personal failures in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of Suki coming out of nowhere to save him in the last minute?
Suki's bae, man.
I just don't know if
Suki is
it's.
bae, homie.
I just
Well,
don't know if
Suki
it's...
can be bae, but Azula's still waifu.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
I just don't know for me personally if
Azula.
it's the way I would have gone. And it's not so much I
Look,
would have... It's not so much I would have killed the characters, but more just it seems like out of nowhere, oh, hey, here comes Suki.
Do you think so?
It's got a little bit of that, but I mean, I guess at the same time, we're aware
A
she's
little
around
Deus Ex
somewhere.
Machina?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of Suki's character
You don't
personally. I don't know, man. Hey, well, what do you mean by that, young man?
No, I
Oh,
was just
dude.
entirely surprised. You've never
Yeah?
said anything like that in the past.
Don't like her, man. She's boring. She's like going back to the water, for example, that we were talking about before Ryan got here. You know, she's like, you know, you get home and you're like, you know, what do I want to drink tonight? Like, do I want a glass of water? Do I want a glass of milk? Do I want a glass of juice? Right? Suki's like the milk, right? Not good most of the time, except for cereal. So she like has her place, but just not great. And
Wait a
then
minute,
like
in
you know,
this example, is Sokka the cereal?
yeah, no, I am the cereal.
Okay,
No, but
I
like
just had to
she-
clear
she's
that up
like,
real quick.
She's only useful for cereal. That's it. Like she's a one-trick pony. She's boring. And then you know you got Azula out here who is the juice because she is full of flavor. If you know what I'm saying.
Okay, but
No,
Oh,
you know
Suki,
what?
she's the
Put that
cereal
juice to
is like-
cereal, it'll
Azula
taste
is like
horrible.
tequila, dog.
Bro, you ain't ever had Sprite and Fruit Loops? The hell you mean?
Bro, what is wrong with you?
Nah.
What do
not
you mean?
Azula's not juice. Azula is tequila. All right, like
It's gotta be something that burns, yeah.
it makes for a fun night.
Tequila's
Like you
juice
wake
if
up,
you're brave
you,
enough.
you
What
like
do you
you
mean?
like you like she makes for a fun night, and then you wake up regretting every single decision you've ever made in
I got
life.
no regrets, big boy. There ain't no
I don't know about you,
regrets.
but I've never regretted drinking tequila.
Good lord.
It has almost led to us fighting numerous times, but you know, it's fine.
Yeah, no, tequila, hit me with it, baby boy, hit me with it. So, like, that's all I'm trying to say. Suki is base girl, definitely not. And I would say, like, Katara is water, also very boring, no flavor, no substance, and that's,
But
when I say
essential
water, I
for
mean,
life.
but essential for life, I mean, you know.
But wait,
because
what
she-
if you add crystal light to the water?
So in this situation,
then
Chaz, I
you
have
probably get,
And
like,
you get you a
oh, no, dude, you ain't even worse. Whoa.
She's an empty
No,
glass.
we're pausing the. Aaron, shut up. UA is like you go home. UA is like you're in a desert, right? And
Yeah.
you need water, right? Like you are so thirsty you're gonna die. You've been without water, you've been sweating your balls off. It's not good. And you're just like, I need water, otherwise I will die. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden you see a glass. And you go up to the glass and you're like, oh, there's water, and you pick it up and it's empty.
Mhm.
Because that character had no development, no substance, nothing. She had every opportunity to have all of those things, but had nothing. I couldn't care less about her. She died and I laughed
Chaz,
because I don't care. She became the moon.
Chaz, I have a question.
Yes.
In this comparison of women to liquid, which is a strange conversation, where do you put Toph in this? I'm very curious.
Oh, dude, Toph is like a good, nice, like bottle of beer. Like
That's
she
exactly
is
what I
cracking
was
open
thinking.
a cold one. She's
She's
cracking
hanging
open
with
a
the
cold
boys,
one.
cracking open a cold one. Like she's having a good time.
Yeah.
She's just straight vibing.
She's like, you mowed the lawn and it's 110 degrees outside. You finish
Yeah.
mowing the lawn and you're sitting there and you just you take that first sip of that cold beer or a cold lemonade. Either one, I could see her being both, considering she's a
A
little bit
hard
sour.
lemonade. Yeah.
Ooh, Mike's hard. There we go. I could hit it with that.
Mhm.
Yeah, send it. Okay. Like she's like a good like nice cool beverage on a hot summer day. So she
Yeah.
like hits just right. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what I expected. I don't think it was necessarily that, but okay.
Yeah, no, that
That
Like,
honestly
it's-
tracks. Yeah.
yeah, Chaz, it's like you took my thoughts and put them into your words because I was thinking the exact same thing.
I got you. Don't worry. I got
All
you.
right.
Well,
See,
speaking
somebody gets it here.
of waifus here, let's move on to the next fight, which is Azula versus Zuko and Katara.
Oh god.
All of which are waifu contenders somehow.
Zuko could be waifu.
No, we had this
Zuko's
conversation already.
husbando,
We did.
isn't he?
Zuko's husbando. That's a fact. That's the
He
meme.
is husbando.
Well, no, in our
Oh.
Waifu Wars episode, Nicole did say that Zuko is full-on waifu material. It is considered canon now.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
It's evacstation. It's evacstation canon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he is waifu.
So anyway, Azula versus Zuko and also Katara there. So what do you think of this fight? Let's dive in.
And
also Katara was
Katara there.
She was there.
She was there. She
contributed.
ended the fight, y'all. Come on, y'all gotta put some respect on her
contributed.
name.
No, Ryan, listen. She interfered with the Agni Kai. She ruined it completely.
did.
No,
It was
bullshit.
a disqualification.
Oh my
And
god,
here comes
y'all are the
Katara
worst.
with the steel chair.
Yeah. No, with the
Oh,
steel
yes.
chain. With the steel chain, Nicole.
Yes.
Yep, so disqualification. You know.
Not gonna win Hell in the Cell that way.
So does that mean Zuko lost by forfeit?
Yeah, so then Zuko lost. He lost by disqualification because Katara came in with the steel chain.
So technically, Azula's the Fire
It's
Lord.
actually perfectly fine because the ref didn't see it. So
Where was the
True.
ref in that fight anyway?
by the
Where-
time
I was
by
gonna
the
say,
time
where
he
was the
came
ref?
to, by the time he came to, Azula was tied up. That was it, man. The winner.
Oh, typical.
Typical ref. Probably got paid off.
Yeah, Azula took out the ref, you know.
It was a work. It was
a work.
In all,
Yeah,
See
that's
Austin.
in all seriousness, though, like we said earlier, this fight animated beautifully. Music is great.
Oh, yeah.
The battle itself between the two siblings is just it's kind of one of the core moments of the show that really just reminds you just how good this show can be without really having to do a whole lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So good,
like,
man.
I think one of the biggest things that I love watching is that I love about it is seeing how composed Zuko is, because while yes, Azula is off her game because she's having a fucking breakdown at the moment.
He doesn't capitalize on it.
You see him moving right. I mean, you see him his movements, his techniques are so assured. They're so smooth. They're so confident. He is a master in this moment, and you can tell not only the comment that's making him more powerful, but all the journeys that he's gone through, the self-actualization work that he's done, the forgiveness from Iroh, the work with the dragons, the realizing of his inner passion, his inner fire, and just clarifying who he wants to be. All of that comes through in his firebending. It's his own style. It's so strong and it's so assured, and it all comes through just in how he fights. That's amazing storytelling to me.
It's amazing how far he's come. If you watch the very first episode and then you watch the Agni Kai with him versus frickin' Zhao,
Oh, Starburns?
and
Yep.
then yeah, Starburns, and then you watch this, and yeah, sure, like Ryan said, yeah, the comet makes him a billion times more powerful, but his confidence and his he's got the swagger, man. He's just got
He do got the swagger.
he got the swagger and he got the moves, and so he
Mhm.
just destroys. I mean, Azula had no chance against him. As unhinged as she was, she had no chance. And I would say that until the end of time.
I think if she had been in her right mind, it would have been a much closer fight. But
Absolutely.
yeah, I think when Azula is composed and focused, she is the deadliest character on this show.
Oh, yeah.
No holds barred. I think Zuko's only real reason that he was able to hold his own as well as he did is because Azula was unfocused and all over the place. Like, she was focused on killing him, but, like, her mind was all over the place, so she could not get it down.
Mm-hmm.
Give her some therapy, give her a few months, and have her come back for a real fight. It'd probably be her favor at that point, then.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, yeah. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. To me, it
I
seems
don't know,
like
man.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
to me, it seems like the kind of like the whole opposite of their first fight, where Zuko was very emotional.
Yeah.
And Azula being very cool-headed, where Zuko this time is baiting Azula.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's a great pull.
It's actually
It is
very
actually,
interesting
like,
how they
the
reversed it
perfect
like that.
opposite.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, so good.
We do have to hit up, of course. I know Ryan's not going to regret this, but I know Chaz will not be happy with this part. We have to hit up Katara's ending of the fight, though, because that is important. Because at the same time, like, we get to see a level of water bending mastery that has A, not been done yet in this whole show, and also B, again, shows her growth as a character. A character who could barely splish splash is making water move within a big frozen thing of water. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So, deadass, when I first saw this fight, like, when it first aired, I thought Katara sacrificed herself to kill Azula. I absolutely thought that's how it worked. And I was just like, holy shit, that's an amazing yet tragic ending. It's just like, Azula has to die. Like, Azula has to be stopped. And the only way that she could stop this crazy master firebender under the influence of the comet was to also sacrifice herself. I was just like, that's gonna be deep, but I appreciate the balls of the storytelling. And then she started moving, and I was just like, okay, like, this is fantastic, and I'm glad she's not dead, but I think
So you wanted her to die.
The emotional impact
That's what I'm
would
hearing.
have been like, God damn.
Ryan
if it
wanted
happened.
Katara to die.
I mean, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
At the same time, though,
But she could have finally seen her mom.
at the same time, though, it's a kid's show. They weren't going to commit to that.
It is a kid's show. You're absolutely right. But I mean, just like teenage Ryan, I was just looking at it all face value. When the possibility of that happened, I was just like, holy shit, okay.
Well,
That's a bold choice.
well, and what makes
That's
it work?
ballsy.
What makes it work for me too is it really. And there's a lot of points that I want to point out here that where the characters bending their elements do so in a way that fits the element perfectly. And in this particular moment, this shows the adaptability of water. This shows the flexibility of water. This shows exactly what a water bending master should and can be capable of. Like, this is a perfect example of that right here, I would say.
Absolutely.
Why doesn't the one thing is I feel like lightning versus water is would not go the best.
Which is why she wasn't able to fight her just like head on. She had to come at her from an oblique angle.
She had to use the trickery.
Mm-hmm. She had to
Okay.
debate her.
Debated. Get debated.
It is kind of a bummer that Zuko didn't
Azula
get to
got
finish
stick
the
bug.
fight, but I think Katara coming out and doing it works fine. Especially because the reason she did is because Zuko sacrificed himself for her, and like that's a pretty bold move from a person who almost wanted you dead like 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
My question also is do you think that Zuko could have finished the fight?
I don't know.
For
Yeah.
all his big talk about like I mean like
If he could have
all
killed
his
her.
big talk about oh, you got to kill my father, you got to put him down. Like, do you really think that if the balls hit the walls, that Zuko could nut up and put her down?
So in reading the comics, and Ryan can probably attest this a little bit too.
Yep.
I don't think he could have, and not because he's afraid of killing or anything, but I think because he ultimately wants a family. He wants to build things back to not back, but he wants to build up a new life, and he wants his family to be able to move on in some capacity. Ozai's a lost cause. I think he's well aware of that, but I think he's hoping he can save Azula to some extent.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think I think the writers probably did that to spare Zuko from making that choice. Now that I'm really thinking about it, like, because there's no way in hell that Azula would have let it just end in I yield, you know, like she was like, what? Like, one of us is walking, one of us is not.
You have to put her down
one of
before
us
she
is gonna
give
go
up.
home in a body bag, right? So it's just like, it's either gonna be you or me. And with all that talk that he was giving Aang about needing to put down the Fire Lord, it would have been a rough call to then be like, okay, the second protagonist that's been building all this up and is really good now, he now just has to straight up kill his sister. Like, he just has to do it to stand on his ground. So I think the writers kind of like wiggled their way out of having to do that by doing that, by making that move.
And to add to that too, Zuko, when he gets to be crowned Fire Lord, does say it's a new era of, you know, love and peace and, you know, all that stuff. That's gonna ring a lot more hollow if you know, got that with some bloodshed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
True.
Also
He
consider
cut his sister's throat. Just grabbed her by the hair, ponytail, pulled her hair up, and just give her like a Colombian necktie.
Scalper, just fucking scalper.
Yeah, send it, dude.
Yeah, that's the alternate timeline of that fight.
Zuko pulls out one of his twin broadswords, just fucking scalps
Hell
his
yeah.
sister.
Yes.
No, but I think you actually bring up a really good point. With like it being a new era, it's the big reason why Iroh declines going to fight Ozai, because he said there has to be a new era in the Fire Nation, and if I was to do it, they would just see it as another Fire Nation ruler killing their brother for power. It has to be different this time, which is why Aang had to do it. So if it ended up being that Zuko kills his sister in order to become the Fire Lord, they would have fallen into the same trap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think things had to happen the way they did for a reason. I think overall it works really well.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on the Azula Zuko fight? I know that one got pretty deep.
It was so good.
Probably one of the best animated moments of the whole show, I would say. Probably in the top few for me, at least.
I'd say it's one of my
In terms of emotional, in terms of emotional gut punches, like, or emotional fights, this is definitely like towards the top of the list for me.
Well, like
I would
said,
just say like just normal animation too.
I was gonna say, in animation-wise, I was gonna say it's probably in my top 5 animations, maybe 3, period. Like, not just this show, but anything I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
All right, time for the big one: Aang versus Ozai and energy-bending lion turtles. Let's go! All right, so let's start with the obvious. This fight, good fight, right?
Very good fight,
Very
especially
good fight.
especially when he beat. When my favorite 13-year-old protagonist becomes an angry god and just decides to run his shit.
Dude,
He has
beats the
stopped.
boy.
He has stopped listening to God and has become God.
You're like, listen here, God, I'm doing the work now. You just stay back and take a seat.
Oh. Well, yeah,
Like,
because the last time God told him to do it.
This
Amen.
time he's like,
see?
yeah, no, fuck it, we're just gonna do it. We're just gonna get him.
So my question is, Ryan, if Aang were to kill him, whose fault would it be? Would it be Aang, or would it be would be God that told him to do it.
Yeah.
Well, no, in this instance,
Well, in this
he's making the choice.
Yeah,
Is he, or is it his past lives? Because technically, Avatar
true.
spirit is the defense mechanism for the Avatar.
Mm-hmm.
So in this
Right?
in this moment, the Avatar state, like
He calls on it.
he's actually mastering it because his chakra, his final chakra has been unlocked.
Oh, yeah, he got like
and
punched in the
he
back,
can
didn't he?
pull it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
open
in
that pod
this
chakra.
state, yeah, the pod chakra. So in this state, like it's an amalgamation of all of the avatars, but also including Aang. So yeah, if Aang just decided to haul off and dead that dude, yes, he'd absolutely be liable for that. But it's because
I
he
mean,
was a
would
part of
he
the
like do
decision.
all the avatars like have a vote? Like, hey, do we kill this guy? And majority wins.
If that was the case, then he would just be dead. Because you absolutely know Aang was the only one that was like, no, let's keep him alive.
I wonder how far back in the
No,
past
during
lives
the
he'd have to go before one of them said, "No, Aang, you're totally right. Don't listen to these other guys."
Dude, like I said, Kyoshi was straight up like sitting there like
Dead.
putting bullets in the mag and was like, "It's a
Mhm.
shame." Like, you guys seen what's that movie, Hot Fuzz?
Oh
Right,
yeah.
where the guy's like loading the shotgun. He's like, "Real shame, ain't it?" Just like
Shame.
putting shells in, and she's all right, just
Nope.
blasts a hole in his
Tragedy.
face. Yeah, tragedy. It's terrible.
But you didn't kill Jin the
Like, she
Conqueror.
wasn't
He
even-
killed himself. I don't see the difference.
I really like if I actually had to pull the trigger, please believe I would have.
Oh, dude, hands on site. You're absolutely right, dude.
Yeah, like-
I
Yeah,
Alright.
the mountain did me a solid. Like I would have come back and killed him, but I didn't have to, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Man, just
Mountain
turtle,
did my
the
job for
giant
me.
land turtle.
I'm actually gonna go on my way to read the Kyoshi books. I want to dive deep into that character one of these days and just see what the hell happened to make her such a fucking like murder monster.
God,
Right?
I love the fact that Kyoshi's a bottom.
I'm seriously gonna have to read these fucking comics. Apparently, okay.
Yeah,
No,
Kyoshi's the bottom?
Kyoshi's a bottom.
actually the Kyoshi.
Really, I figure she would at least be a power bottom.
Mm-mm. Oh no, she is a bottom to her Fire Nation girlfriend.
Oh.
It makes sense though when you consider that a lot of people are like they end up being like the opposite of what they normally are like in just everyday life. You get to
Yeah.
see a brand new, complete different side of them. So
You speaking
I
from
can-
experience, Ryan?
a little bit.
Mm.
Mm.
I'm trying to think what the opposite of Ryan would be, but I can't picture it.
You can't. You
Mm.
really can't.
Anyway,
I'm just gonna leave
Wait.
it there. Just
But,
gonna leave it there.
to correct you,
Ryan, are you into pegging?
Oh, get the fuck on. Next
I'm
question.
thinking he's into pegging.
to correct you though, Ryan, the Kyoshi things are not actually comics; they're actually straight up novels.
Ooh. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to check that out.
But okay, so just jumping back into the fight here. So, what did y'all think of the actual ending with the energy bending and the lion turtle?
It was pretty
Um,
freaking cool.
Yeah, I love that. I love that the ending was really it truly established Aang as the other avatars, like an avatar in his own right, because literally every other like past incarnation is like, no, murder, no, straight up get him, and he was the only, he was the only one who was really trying to stick to his guns, and the spirit world heard his call and gave him that option. Also, keep in mind he's the first person to ever to do this since the time of like Wan and the fucking lion turtles.
Yeah.
But it also requires an unbreakable like will and spirit to do what you're going to do, which we know Aang has when he's literally refusing to kill this man against thousands of past reincarnation saying, "No, end him. Like, be done with it." So I thought it came together very, very well. I did.
I thought it was a satisfying ending.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like there was not a way to end the series because you couldn't arrest him, like, and try him publicly, right? Because, like you said, everybody be like, all right, just kill him, like, stone him, right?
Yeah.
Like, put him out and literally kill him. You couldn't let him go, right? Because he'd be too dangerous, left alive.
And because
You
he had to
couldn't-
answer for his crimes, yeah.
Yeah, and you couldn't be like, oh, redemption arc in one episode, or even
God,
if you gave
no.
him a whole season, right? Like, there's no way.
Kinda hard to redeem a
redemption
monster.
arc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to, I think you have to want to be redeemed.
Well, and it's because the way he was written prior to this, right? Like, they did
Because
not
he's a
leave
bitch.
another exit other than either A, time travel, which, let's thank God they decided not to do that. They didn't do that because I hate time travel endings. Or, I mean, like, I mean, this was the only real way to deal with the situation, which would be to strip him of the one thing that gave him dominion and power over others. Right? It'd be like you have, like, an abusive dad, right? I don't know why this is the first thing that came to my mind, but, like,
Well, I mean, he does have an
I'm with
abusive
you.
dad, so you're right on the money.
yeah, well, so, like, you know, my old man was not a nice person growing up, right? So it took until I was about, like, 17 years old before he realized, like, you can't push me around anymore, because the thing that got taken away from him was size, right? Like, he realized all of a sudden, oh shoot, like, I'm the same size as him. You know, I ended up being taller than my old man. And we're good now. Everything's fine. Everything's kosher. We've gone to therapy. It's all good. Double thumbs up.
Nice.
So, yeah, no, it's like extra pog. It's like probably one of the best redemption arcs in real life. So it's pretty cool. But like something like that, you know, or it's like you have somebody standing there pointing a gun at your head and they say, go do something. You're going to be like, yeah, cool. Sounds good, chief. I have a gun pointed at my head. I'm going to go do it. And then all of a sudden that gun's taken away. Are you still going to listen to what that person has to say? You still going to do something? Because probably not, if it was not something you wanted to do in the first place. So I think that was definitely, yeah, true. If you paid me, I'll do anything for money. And I mean anything. I legitimately mean anything. I have a price for everything.
Mhm. And if you want Chaz to do something for you, please send us an email with your price point.
Oh, good lord.
Oh, dude, on God, if you give me like $1 million cash, there's not a whole lot I wouldn't do.
Yep.
Like, you want me to kill somebody? Cool, as long as I'm not going to jail for it. I mean, you want me to, like, suck your dick? Cool, as long as I'm not getting AIDS. If I'm gonna get AIDS, I'm gonna
It
need a
better
little
be
more
$1
money.
million, like, dick sucking in that case.
He probably won't charge that much.
Dude, let me be honest with you. Ain't nobody gonna be able to do it like I can, man. I don't got a gag reflex.
Same.
Seriously, I can legitimately take a 12-inch bratwurst and shove it down my throat and pull it back out.
Oh,
Same.
God.
Not even break a sweat. It's great.
Done the same thing.
I used to do it all the time when I worked in kitchens. But yeah, so I think
Right?
back to the
Do it.
Yes? Wait, what?
French fries, dog. Calm down.
Oh. Dude, I used to do it with ramen noodles. Like, the noodles, like, you swallow them and you pull it back out.
Oh, hell yeah,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
I get you.
But I think it was a super satisfying ending. Because, again, you couldn't have done it a different way. There's
yeah.
no
there
physical
was,
way to do it any
there was
different.
no other option.
Other than dick sucking, probably.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
but anything
listen.
can be solved with that.
Anything can be solved if Aang had filmed him sucking the dick, man.
Look, name any conflict, and I will tell you dick sucking can solve it.
World War II. I don't know. Maybe if Hitler got some, he might not have been.
Look, if he just got a little extra sucking.
He might not have been such a bad guy. All right. Okay.
We'll move on to the
Alright.
next question. We'll move on.
Next question.
So we're gonna hit
Before I
you.
get his.
Gonna hit a few heavy ones real quick and hopefully wrap up here pretty soon. First,
Mm-hmm.
how does Aang's role as an outsider, i.e. a character removed from the modern time by about 100 years, help him and his friends in this battle? Or I guess in the entire conflict.
I don't know if it does.
I mean, I think so. I think an outside perspective is a perspective that isn't fully entrenched in the realities and the sheer exhaustiveness of 100 years of war. Like, if you look at a character like Jet, could he have found it in his heart to have compassion for the Fire Lord? No,
Oh, yeah,
because
no.
his entire life has been spent under the cruelty of the Fire Nation. So if you were looking for someone to find that one answer where justice was served, but it was also compassionate, you needed somebody with eyes unclouded by hate. Shout out to Princess Mononoke.
Mm-hmm. I think also letting him be this outsider character, he brings this spiritual and philosophical role to it where he knew the Fire Nation before it became this. He was aware of good firebenders. He's aware that the world wasn't always this way. So he had the most faith and the most drive to get it back to a peaceful time like it used to be, and could actually be like, "Hey, this is not how it's supposed to be, guys. Let's get this back on track here." And so I think if anyone's going to bring balance to the world that way, it's going to be someone like that.
I'll be back in 30 seconds. My dog is freaking out.
Gotcha.
Oh God, he knows.
We'll hit the next question real quick, unless there's anything you want to add, Nicole.
No, I think you guys have pretty much hit it on the head.
What does Aang's moral dilemma and ultimate resolution say about moral codes versus societal obligations?
Oh man, I mean, so the moral dilemma kind of, like, it, much like everything with the moral dilemma, it kind of brings me back to the Winter Soldier, and just having that clash of ideologies between Captain America and Nick Fury. And I think, like, this concept of the idealist versus the realist, and I think that in real life there exist moments where you have to make a choice, and there's no clean choice. There's no clear-cut choice. Like, there's a moment where you have to either choose to try and be as moral as possible, or to save the most amount of lives. And I think for a kid's show, the concept of energy bending and being able to actually find that perfect choice it's great for a kid's show, but I think in real life we're rarely visited by lion turtles that hand us the answers on a silver platter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we got to find our own lion turtles.
Yeah. So I think.
Will you be my lion turtle?
I will do everything I can to be your lion turtle.
Oh, that's.
Whatever that means.
But I think I think the concept of Aang disagreeing with all of his past incarnations make a lot of sense, because not only because of Aang's upbringing, but because of Aang's youth. Keep in mind, there are no other child avatars. They're all grown men and women who have lived through sometimes violent lives and have seen a good stretch of what humans are capable of, both for good and for ill. And all of them had come to the conclusion that there are some people that are so evil and that cause such a threat to everybody else that they have to be put down. And I think that Aang was not willing to accept that because of the teachings of the monks, but also because I don't think he's experienced all of that suffering as of yet. So he still had that idealism in him.
Gotcha. I'll chime in a bit here. So earlier I had said that how Katara handled Azula was a great example and definition of how the element of water and water bending mastery in general. I think this situation Aang's in and how he resolves it is ultimately the perfect definition and example of an airbender. As we remember from way back when he was first learning airbending, earthbending, the airbender's way of approaching problems is to come with different solutions and come at things from different angles. I think this is literally what that is a problem is put in front of him. He's given a very 0-1 binary answer to how to solve the problem, and he decides, no, I'm going to see if I can make 2 happen. And he does.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anything else you guys want to add to that particular question there? No? Alright, I got a couple more quick ones here, and then we can wrap up here shortly. Number 1, do you feel the Aang x Katara moment is earned? Why or why not? Ryan, I know we discussed this an episode ago.
I'm just gonna shut up. I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm gonna let Chaz and Nicole take that because we've already talked about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, was it earned? I mean, define. What do you mean? Was it earned?
So I guess we can kind of give a brief reminder of what we talked about last week, Ryan. So when we talked about the Ember Island players, the discussion of Aang and Katara's relationship came up, but it was never resolved. And then here we are, literally 3 or 4 episodes later, and they kiss without ever having talked about it again, brought it up again. It went from them just being kind of prickly to each other to suddenly, oh hey, let's make out at the end of the episode. To me, and I think Ryan and I were on the same page here, that felt like it was just a very sudden jump without any real build-up to it. And it felt like they needed to have that conversation before this happened about, hey, what are we going to do going forward? Because it was something that they were both resistant to actually doing, or at least Katara was. And the fact that we didn't even get a hint of a conversation even happening just feels like to me this feels like a jump.
Time skip. All it was. To be fair, it doesn't ever say how much time happened between them taking down Ozai and that whole thing happening, right?
Yeah, but even just a quick little side of, hey, Katara, can we talk for a minute? Or even her approaching, since she was the one resistant, saying, hey, Aang, let's pick up where we left off. Let's have the conversation. And just cut it and fade into black there. That would have been all I needed.
You're asking for too much.
Yeah, you're asking a lot.
I don't think I'm asking for very much.
I will say for my part, during my rewatch, I did skip over that part.
Yeah, it's
it's not something that I've ever. I don't care about their relationship.
Exactly.
I feel like it was not necessarily put in, not like shoehorned in, but I feel like it was definitely not something that was critical. Absolutely needed for the like my enjoyment of the series. And I think that, I don't know if it was necessarily put in just because people were like, oh, a little romance aspect would be fun. But I don't know. That whole side story was, to me personally, I just didn't really care. I kind of ignored it was going on.
Yeah.
So was it earned?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't watching the show for Aang and Katara's,
right?
Knocking boots. You know what I'm saying? They're like 12 years old. That's weird.
That's fair. That's fair. Should there have been a 4th season as originally planned?
As in, should we have stretched the third season out so it's 2 seasons?
No, so the original plan, the fourth season, and again, this is all conjecture based on different writers talking about it publicly, was to have an attempted redemption arc of Azula, even if it didn't quite stick the landing. Like, she probably would have not actually gone full good, but an attempt at it. Obviously, Zuko's mom's resolution there, and a couple of other side stories involving spirits and stuff to be a fourth season, or do you think its ending is where it should have ended?
I think it ended exactly where it needed to end.
Yeah.
I think
Same.
I'm gonna disagree.
Ugh.
Mm.
And the reason I'm gonna disagree is because I think that if they could have continued the story without going the One Piece apocalypse route or Naruto apocalypse route where they go thousands of episodes, right? Like, it's the whole slippery slope argument with Batman. Like, if Batman kills somebody, he'll just kill everybody. Like, you know when you should stop the show. Like, there was plenty of plot threads that they could have continued to go down. You know, for example, Zuko's mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out what all happened there. It could have been, starting up the air temples and things like that. It could
Dealing
have
with
been
the Fire Nation
you know,
colonies.
dealing with the Fire Nation colonies and the people that are resisting. You know, it could have been dealing with Toph's parents and actually maybe getting a Toph and Zuko adventure. You know, it could have been, any number of different storylines that they could have done one more season on. I think that the show wrapped up in a very nice little package, a really nice bow on top. Do I think that the show could have easily had another season of very well produced content, very good stories? I mean, we could have gotten more stuff about Iroh, more stuff about the spirit world, and things like that could have helped to link up better to Korra, and give us a better idea of, like, oh, well, this is why the stuff in Korra happened, you know? But that would have also required a little bit more forethought. So,
Yeah. I agree with you, Chaz. I think, to an extent, I think not necessarily a fourth season, but I think like a sequel series. Not Chorus per se, but like, so you know how Ben 10 exists and it has like a bunch of different quote unquote sequel series where he's like older, like a teenager than an adult or some shit like that. I think
Wait,
something
what?
like,
There's an adult version?
I think so. I don't know if they get to full
I
on
just know
adult,
about the
but
teenage one.
I think they get like almost to adult. I don't remember 100%. But my thing is, like, you could do that easily with this series. Like, have them get a little older, have them go on more mature adventures, have them see bigger parts of the world, deal with more complex problems. Like, I get that they did some deep, dark stuff as kids, but, like, now there's a bit more context, a bit more wisdom they can carry with them going into other situations. And I think that would have been an interesting spin on it and allow you to exploit his characters as they grow into bigger, more prominent roles.
Yeah, I mean, I would always be down for more content with the gang, but I feel like the Last Airbender's story started off with, like, we have to stop the Fire Lord and, like, end the invasion of the Fire Nation that, you know, they're launching on the entire fucking world, so that once that's done, that story is done. I would always love to see more things about their travels and their adventures, but from a meta perspective, if you're looking at the entire arc of their story, you don't want to have this like grand climactic finish where they finish what they started out doing 3 years ago, and then it just keeps kind of trailing on, never to hit those heights again. End definitively, and then if you want to do a new side series where they have some more adventures, awesome.
Yeah, kind of like with Steven Universe. They ended the show, and then they had the extra, like, Steven Universe feature, like, doing something like that.
Yeah.
Where the main story... where the main story has ended, but, you know, we got this extra.
Really, I think we just all want more Avatar in general, is what it is.
I wanted more Aang. I did want more Aang. I did. Korra was really cool, and they did very interesting things with Korra, but I wanted more Aang. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I love Korra a lot. I think it stands up on its own as a good show. Comparing it to Last Airbender is a tough sell to do because
It is.
they're both different in a lot of important ways that it's hard to really compare them properly, aside from, oh, they have the same kind of themes and animations and stuff. It's going to pale in comparison, and I don't want to dive too deep into that because that's a different podcast entirely, but I would say if you are curious about checking out Korra, you really should. It is, to me, still really good. Just a different kind of good.
Yeah.
Also, Korra was kind of cock-blocked by Nickelodeon, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, Nickelodeon fucked the dog on that
Mhm.
one. Speaking of which, last question here. Are you planning to watch/rewatch Korra next, or read any of the comics?
I suppose
I
I'm
haven't
reading the
watched
comics.
I haven't watched Korra yet, so I need to do that still. I just haven't.
Let me know
To
when
be
you
honest.
do, man. I really want to hear your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I mean, I plan on it. It'll probably be the next show that I watch, because once I finish rewatching The Punisher,
Oh, yes. Mm.
dude, it's so freaking good. Apparently, Aaron's never seen it, which I think the fact that he runs like a movie podcast and hasn't seen that is
To be
probably
fair,
the most sacrilegious thing.
it came out after I started the movie podcast, and it's been kind of hard to fit extra stuff into the schedule of watching on top of this schedule.
That's facts. That's facts. I haven't
fair.
actually sat down and watched anything new in a very long time.
If I watch something new, it's probably for this show.
Yep.
Well, then schedule just a one night thing to watch. Like just watch like
Mhm.
I would say watch the first season is definitely far superior to the second season, but I don't know, man.
But
I
the second
really
season's
like
still
it.
good.
Second season is really good, but you also do need to kind of you definitely need to understand that it sucks the U.S. military's dick pretty hard, but that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Avatar now. I'm sorry. So yeah, I plan on watching Korra soon, and once I do, I will let you guys know what I think.
Radical, man. If you want to borrow the comics too, I've got most of them, so you feel free to check them out anytime you want.
Okay, sounds good. What are you, my library? Jay, Merry Christmas. You want to check them out?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? You can also do digital. They have them on digital for Amazon. I think at a pretty decent price right now. So
Yeah.
Fair enough.
that is all the
The
questions
one
I
I
have.
got was like $6 or $7.
Yeah. So that's all the questions I have for the Last Airbender series for now. Anything else you guys want to add before we do the wrap up?
Anybody listening hasn't watched the show already? I don't
What are
know
you
why
doing
you'd
here?
be listening to this. I don't know why you would be listening to 6 months worth of a podcast.
Right.
Kind
About
of
a
late
show
for
that
a
you've
fucking
never seen.
spoiler warning, but
But-
yeah.
Yeah, but if you
But, like-
have, go ahead and send an email. That's impressive.
Indeed, you can follow us on Tumblr, Twitter, and
Seriously,
Facebook.
if you haven't seen the show and
You can let us know what all you thought about this show you didn't see. You can even email us. Ryan, what could they email us at?
They can email us at a 2-hour rambling fucking podcast, like I called it, at Gmail. No, sorry.
We're actually
That
That's
pretty
is-
a
close.
long email address.
Yeah, that's right, because it's wrong. It's
it would have been shorter if
evacstation.
Ryan showed up at...
Shut the fuck up. It's evacstation at gmail.com.
We're actually at an hour and 58 minutes,
finish my
59
joke.
minutes. So let's wrap up
Oh,
real
I would've-
quick. Wait, you have something to say, Chess?
Shorter if Ryan had showed up on time.
Aw.
Yeah, right?
Somebody just decided, I guess I'm too good for being on time.
Yeah, he just
Wow,
rolled up
Zowie.
with some Starbucks. We're like, oh, what's up, guys? Oh, I'm late.
Hey, what's up, bro? Oh, wait, we were supposed to be here at 8 o'clock. Wow, it's 8:45. Gosh, that
Wow.
I mean, it makes no sense for me to be late and thirsty, so I might as well.
sucks, bro. I'm
This is where we rank the episode from platinum to bronze, all the colors in between. I think we're all
Platinum.
kind of on the same page, but let's just go around the room real quick and
Platinum,
make sure.
platinum.
Got platinum on Chaz.
platinum.
Nicole?
Yeah, I'm gonna rate this just 10 out of 10 narwhal squishables.
Yeah,
Okay.
that tracks. That's on theme.
Yeah.
Ryan, how about you?
I will rate this in obvious easy platinum or 5 lion turtles. Just for
No.
Nicole.
No, this is my thing. You can't take that.
No,
I have a
fuck it.
copy written.
I did it. It's over now.
No, okay, then you're gonna have to pay me a lot of money because I have this copy written.
Nah, I don't.
I'm
I
gonna
don't.
send
I
you an
don't.
invoice.
I don't see lion turtles.
I'm gonna
in
give
this-
it
in
10
the
cab.
copyright,
I'm gonna give
sorry.
it 10. Where's my cabbages or my cabbages out of 10?
Yes.
Okay, Chaz is allowed to use it, but not you, Ryan.
Hey!
Wow.
Because I'm better.
I will.
Great.
'Cause-
I will say platinum as well. Or Nicole, am I allowed to do a weird ranking?
Yeah, I will allow it.
I will rate this on the scale of orange to mahogany, a blue.
Yep,
What?
I get it.
Yep.
Sure. Fine. I guess.
See, Ryan, Aaron asked.
All
right.
This is some bullshit. Unbelievable. End the goddamn podcast.
Thank you
Oh
for
my
listening
God.
to us for 6 months in this nonsense. By now, the movie podcasts have probably kicked back up, so please feel free to listen to those as well. And I don't know what's coming out next week, because I don't know specifically when this episode's coming out, so stay tuned for more movie stuff, and we'll see you after the credits.
Bye.
Bye.